The song that has been recently banned in Germany and other parts of the world, Kanye West's latest work, HH, standing for Heil Hitler, raises many questions on a philosophical and psychological standpoint. It is very important to learn the atrocities committed by the Reich and Hitler in order to not be repeated. Hitler's actions and rise to power through the manipulation of the German society are a lesson in history about how desperate times call for desperate measures. Why has Kanye West released his song? For attention via shock effect? Or has he completely lost his mind? And when does freedom of speech turn into hatred? The song has gone viral, and my personal opinion is that the Nazis who love a massive public figure turning to Hitler's ideology, and also the people that are hating on him, are missing what this song is about. Before we start with the song, I do not agree with Kanye's views at all. The start of the song is euphoric and ominous in nature. Trumpet sound, which can be interpreted as, in the Bible, a trumpet blast typically signifies a divine call or announcement, often related to war, judgment, or worship. It can be a signal for gathering, moving forward, or engaging in battle, and sometimes announces the arrival of a king or the end times. In the music video, it is set in a darkly lit room, focusing on black males wearing wolf skins. In the Bible, wolves often symbolize danger and deceit, particularly in the context of false prophets, enemies, and those who threaten the safety of God's people. They are often portrayed as predators, contrasting with Jesus' image as a shepherd who protects his flock. In Matthew 7:15, he states that, "Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves." Jesus warns against false teachers who outwardly appear harmless but have malicious intentions.
Man, these people took my kids from me, then they froze my bank account. I got so much anger in me, got no way to take it out. Think I'm stuck in a matrix, when I flush my nitrous. Yes, I am a cook, I like when people fuck on my bitch.
The expression of anger as a psychological projection. Kanye West has stated, "These people took my kids from me, then they froze my bank account. I had so much anger inside me." This admission is a key insight into his emotional state. In psychology, anger is often a secondary emotion, a response to primary emotions such as hurt, fear, or shame. When people feel deeply wronged or betrayed, especially in circumstances involving family and livelihood, they may externalize those feelings as rage. Projection is a defense mechanism, where an individual attributes their own unwanted emotions or traits onto others. In this context, West may be projecting blame onto abstract groups. They, often implied to be Jewish elites as per his past rhetoric, rather than processing personal responsibility or complex grief. This behavior is especially prominent in paranoid ideation, suspicion that others are conspiring or acting maliciously, and narcissistic injury, where perceived rejection or humiliation leads to retaliatory anger.
So I became a Nazi, yeah, bitch, I'm the villain. Nigga, Heil Hitler.
Kanye West's use of extremely charged symbols like Heil Hitler can also be interpreted as a form of nihilistic rebellion, an intentional rejection of moral, social, and political norms, even at a great cost. A few key psychological mechanisms may be at work. A reactance, when individuals feel their freedom is restricted through financial control or custody decisions, they may respond with extreme oppositional behavior, including provocations that seem irrational or self-destructive. The symbolic identification with power, where with associating oneself with Nazi imagery, especially the figure of Hitler, is historically a way for certain individuals to feel powerful through taboo transgression. The idea is, if society fears this symbol, I will wield it to show I fear nothing, a psychologically immature form of asserting dominance, and also moral disengagement. West appears to justify his anti-Semitism by positioning himself as a victim of a powerful cabal. This narrative allows him to morally disengage from the consequences of his hate speech by framing it as justified or retaliatory.
Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. Nigga, Heil Hitler. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, Heil Hitler.
The lyric, "All my N-words Nazis, N-word Heil Hitler," is a disturbing juxtaposition of African American identity with white supremacist ideology. This suggests a fractured or fragmented sense of identity. Psychologically, it may indicate a desire to reclaim or redefine taboo symbols, a confused personal mythology in which West casts himself as both the victim and the ultimate disruptor of history, and also delusions, which often occur in manic or psychotic states where one believes they are enacting some grand historical narrative or destiny.
So I became a Nazi, yeah, bitch, I'm the villain. Nigga, Heil Hitler.
Kanye West mentions his nitrous addiction, where his drug addiction has controlled him, and he's not thinking logically, but the fall of wrath and sin has controlled him to turn into a villain. The villain term he uses to describe himself counters what the press have interpreted from this song, that Kanye is stating that Nazism is the way and the Hitler is his hero. He acknowledges he's not being logical or being smart, but the press has made him a villain, so you know what, he'll be the villain. In the second part of Kanye West's song Heil Hitler, the beat undergoes a significant transformation, shifting from a synth-heavy orchestral arrangement to a more aggressive and militant tone. This change in musical composition serves to underscore the intensifying themes of anger, alienation, and identity crisis that permeate the track. The abrupt change in musical style may mirror the internal chaos and emotional volatility Kanye West is experiencing. Such a stark contrast in musical composition could be interpreted as a representation of the artist's fluctuating mental state, oscillating between moments of introspective vulnerability and outward expressions of aggression and defiance. This duality suggests a profound struggle with identity and a desperate attempt to reclaim agency and control in the face of perceived personal injustices. Philosophically, the song's progression from a subdued to a confrontational tone raises questions about the nature of artistic expression and its potential to influence societal norms. The use of provocative imagery and language, coupled with the dramatic shift in musical style, challenges listeners to confront uncomfortable truths about power, victimhood, and the complexities of human emotion. However, it also risks normalizing harmful ideologies and desensitizing audiences to the gravity of the historical references being invoked. Juxtaposing the N-word with Heil Hitler in the hook is really powerful. It sort of diffuses the power and stigma of mentioning the name of Hitler. The same way using the N-word has been reappropriated in black culture. Why is it okay to say the N-word in rap but not mention Hitler? Having this chorus chanted by black men obviously works to subvert the original intentions and ideology behind the phrase. Why can't we have songs that advocate drugs, blasphemy, murder and suicide on the radio, but this is taboo? We are so desensitized as a society that the ultimate thing to truly get attention is to say things like Heil Hitler. Hitler has become the epitome of the devil, or even worse, where if Kanye created the song Hail Satan, that would be perfectly accepted in society, but Kanye saying Heil Hitler isn't accepted. Why is this? The removal of Kanye West's song Heil Hitler from platforms like YouTube, Spotify and Apple Music has sparked a significant debate about the boundaries of freedom of speech in the digital age. While some argue that this constitutes censorship, it's essential to consider the legal and ethical frameworks that govern online content. In the United States, the First Amendment protects individuals from government censorship. However, this protection does not extend to private entities like YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Music. These platforms have their own terms of service and community guidelines, which users agree to upon using their services. Content that violate these guidelines, such as hate speech, incitement to violence, or glorification of hate figures, can be removed without infringing upon constitutional rights. The ethical dilemma arises when considering the balance between allowing free expression and preventing the spread of harmful content. While artists have the right to express themselves, platforms also have a responsibility to protect users from content that can excite hate or violence. The decision to remove such content is not an absolute ban on free speech, but a measure to uphold community standards and societal well-being. The removal of Heil Hitler from major streaming platforms does not equate to the erosion of free speech. Instead, it reflects the complex interplay between individual expression and the collective responsibility to maintain a safe and respectful online environment. As digital platforms continue to evolve, ongoing dialogue and policy development will be crucial in navigating these challenges.
Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. Nigga, Heil Hitler. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, Heil Hitler. She wanna fuck in Japan. I put the crumb on the Benz. Nigga, Heil Hitler. She reaching down to my pants. She got the world in her hands. Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler.
Meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste deines Volkes. Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich es bin. Wenn ja.
At the conclusion of Kanye West's song, a sample from Adolf Hitler's 1935 speech at the Krupp factory in Essen is featured. The English translation is, "If you consider the work I'm doing to be right, if you think I have been diligent, that I have been worked, that I have stood up for you during these years, that I have used my time decently in the service of my people, then cast your vote. If so, then stand up for me like I have stood up for you." This speech was delivered by Hitler at the Krupp factory in Essen in 1935. The inclusion of this audio in West's song has been widely criticized for its glorification of Nazi ideology and its potential to incite hate. This song has been removed from major streaming platforms due to its content, and the music video is restricted in Germany and other countries under laws prohibiting the dissemination of Nazi symbols.